Welcome to Father's Day 2019. Happy Father's Day to all the men who have reproduced. This Red Man group is a special edition going out to fathers only on this day. It's the one day that fathers get their spotlight. And everywhere else, you're going to find people promoting and representing and praising the single moms who are filling those deadbeat dads roles. Well, that's not what we're going to do today. We're going to be the anti of that message. We're going to actually look to the fathers, recognize the fathers that are filling the roles, call on the other fathers to step up to the plate that aren't doing so, and just honestly looking back and having a good time and going over the year. So this is the first Patriarchs episode since the 21Con Patriarchs edition, which was an absolute success. Men who wanted to become family men, all coming together. It was an incredible time. I loved it. I was with Tanner. We were like, hey, these are our people. The fathers are around, the men who have to face the issues that only fathers face. And 2 Thursdays ago, we're kicking the can down the road. Anthony's like, Hunter, when the hell are we going to have a Patriarchs? Kicking the can down the road. So I left the 9 to 5. I'm full-time online, and now this is my life. So you can stand by for a big increase in the Red Man Group Patriarchs editions because we haven't gone anywhere, because fathers haven't gone anywhere, because we need that bastion. We need that resource reaching out to the fathers who need a message that's something besides, hey, go do dishes. Hey, double down on being a nice guy. All right. So on the panel today, we have Phil Foster, Jeff Putnam, and making a guest appearance, Anthony the Dream Johnson. Anthony, we'll start out with you. How you doing, man? Welcome.
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me on. I wanted to make a special announcement, too, that I talked to you about a few days ago. So today, actually, on Father's Day, we're going to be launching, it's private only for the alumni, the attendees. We're going to be launching a pre-order on tickets to the Patriarch edition of the 21 Convention in 2020. That's going to be going on spring 2020. Sorry, I'm still waking up. So spring 2020, we are actually doing the Patriarch Edition event once again. In spite of comments at the event, I've actually figured out how to do it and fit into the schedule for events next year. And those tickets are going to go on sale to alumni only today, maybe a few select audiences. The public sale for tickets is going to wait probably a few months. We set up, get dates and all that stuff. So it's a pre-order, and the guys who attended can actually get those later today in their email inbox. So fuck yeah, more patriarchy. And we have some other stuff we'll be announcing soon too, but that's the main thing for right now. Also, we're releasing Hunter Drew's opening address at the Patriarch Edition for free today on YouTube at 21 Studios. That'll be out at about 6 p.m. later today. And Tanner Guzzi's 2018 style speech. Not his Patriarch speech, but his 2018 one that we've been teasing for a little while. So it's a full Father's Day celebration. 2 of the top Patriarchs I know. And those will be going out all day today on 21 Studios for free.
It's a solid lineup, man. That's a solid Father's Day drop. Here you go. The intro speech. Let's go. Dude, that convention was fucking wild. It was insane. And, to be able to continue on Patriarchs through Red Man Group, getting all the guys together, it's going to be awesome.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
DJ, welcome.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Doing well. We're going through the I was just going to say, we got the grandfather now. Checking all the boxes.
There you go. Yeah, unfortunately, I slipped on a banana peel and populated a village.
Well, that's interesting because we can hop to the next guy who's going to be speaking, which is Jeff Putnam, who damn near has his own village going now. Jeff, how you doing? This is your first Red Man group. Let people know who you are.
All right. Well, my name is Jeff Putnam, and currently married to one amazing woman who birthed all 9 of my children. She can still walk, for anybody wondering. And I currently am on my way out the door on my 9 to 5. I own Rugged Legacy Grooming Supply Company and co-own the Unemployables, which is a mentorship group for members who are seeking to break the 9 to 5 and become entrepreneurs.
I'm looking forward to coming on that one on Monday.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you, man.
Awesome. Now, you're outside. If you want to mute while not talking, the wind is picking up. We're going to shift over to DDJ. This is our first Red Man group together. How are you doing? It's nice to meet you.
I'm doing good, man. It's another beautiful morning to be here. I apologize. My workout and shower took a little bit longer than expected. I got a good workout in this morning, so I apologize for being a couple minutes late.
Oh, that's fine. Working out is a pretty solid excuse. Something a lot more men should be doing.
Well, I got a couple pounds to lose, so, you got to put in the time.
So what's new with you?
Not really a whole lot. Obviously, for anybody who's been watching my channel, Miss Andrew today, Basically, the thing is that, like, most recently I put out a petition to the White House to get Trump to switch to, or not necessarily switch, but to make accounts on alternate social media, because I think that if he did that, I think that it would really back up his words a lot about, you know, being able to hold big tech accountable for a lot of the censorship they're doing. You know, I'm very much a constitutionalist, and so I'm very much pro Second Amendment, pro free speech, pro due process, and obviously pro healthy masculinity. And so I think that really the cornerstone of our society and obviously our country and everything is free speech. Because if we don't have the power to speak freely, whether it be to, you know, civilly disagree or to civilly agree, and to have our ideas challenged in the marketplace of ideas, then all of a sudden, you know, we live under a totalitarian regime. And so we see a lot of this stuff being challenged even today across social media. And I think that one of the big challenges, again, is that, you know, obviously we want to build bridges and agree where we can, but we also need to be able to have that ability to civilly disagree. So it's steel sharpens steel. And until we can challenge ideas instead of promoting censorship of any kind, you know, we don't know which ideas work and which ones don't. And when people are spreading irrefutable facts, they're being silenced for that. So I just recently created a petition to set that up. And I mean, obviously, I think that because it's kind of a first time sort of thing, I don't expect it to get a lot of traction. But in 2017, when my first video came up, the social media constitutional crisis, and I brought up free speech on social media platforms, nobody was talking about it. I was probably the first person on YouTube to talk about it. And now it's a conversation that's happening all over the country today. So my goal is to try to shift the Overton window back to American patriotism where it belongs.
Very well said. And to kind of piggyback on that, you know, when you see what's going on through just Twitter, you know, that's primarily where I'm at. But I know Facebook, you know, Instagram, other places, people are getting chopped down. But on Twitter as a whole, I've realized I've been changing the way I say things, because I can't say exactly what I want to say without fear of somebody just chopping, you know, my legs off from under me, because they can't disagree with me. So they just have to remove me. And it's one of those things where
George Bruno's banned right now on Twitter. I don't know if it's permanent or temporary, but he's actually restricted right now.
Holy shit. I did not know that.
Yeah, we don't know what happened exactly. But yeah, it's exactly what you're talking about. You have to watch what you say. You have to walk on eggshells. It's fucked up. In America, too.
I understand if there's hate speech and something like that, but when it's just disagreement on topics, it's not. We're not talking about the most extreme cases.
Hold on here. Hold on. Let me step back. I mean, obviously, you know, I've got a lot of respect for everybody here, and we're having this conversation challenge, you know, in the marketplace of ideas. But let's be real for a second, okay? The idea of a hate speech exception to free speech in the United States, well, I think I can't be any more articulate than to say it's complete and utter bullshit from a legal standpoint and from a layman's standpoint. So anybody who promotes censoring of hate speech, whether or not it's, you know, hate speech you appreciate or don't appreciate, that's not an exception. There's only one exception to free speech protections under our United States Constitution, and that is incitements of violence. And obviously, many jurisdictions throughout the United States, they have laws against this. They have laws against incitations of violence. But every time that hate speech has been challenged at the federal court level, at the state court level, in any kind of legal sense, it's been struck down. Because the most important piece of free speech is this: everybody's going to get offended by somebody, and the constitutional framers understood that. And so that's why I, in my video, and I've been saying this for a little while now, is the way you can determine whether or not an organization is anti-American is whether or not they promote hate speech or hate speech policies over free speech policies, and whether or not they have a diversity executive or a diversity team. Because those diversity executives and those diversity teams are used to witch hunt free speech advocates. They're used to witch hunt those who believe in our country. And don't get me wrong, like, if you look at Anthony right now, he's wearing that Make Women Great Again hat. And, you know, there's always the MAGA hat too, the Make America Great Again hat. There are people who are being attacked for just wearing that hat, for wearing a hat that says Make America Great Again. Now, everybody in the mass media has been talking about how, oh, well, you know, we should protect, political speech, and we should protect people based on political beliefs. There is no political belief in the hat that says Make America Great Again, except for we support America. We support our Constitution. We support capitalism. We support the American melting pot society. And the reason I bring that up is because it's not political discrimination. It's national origin discrimination. And the United States Department of Justice has stated very clearly on its website that this is a civil rights crime. So just like you can't discriminate for somebody from Somalia, you cannot discriminate against somebody for believing in America either. If you follow American traditions, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in freedom of speech, if you believe in your Second Amendment right, and you believe in those things, then and somebody discriminates against you for it, or like they did with Anthony the other day, where they tried to kick him out of a restaurant. Or
yeah, they did actually in New York City. Me and my director got kicked out of a coffee shop. We got it on video too. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, that's national origin discrimination. And so, when you deal with that, that's a crime. That's a civil rights crime. And frankly, these organizations that promote these activists who go out and do that, frankly, they need to be sued into the fucking Stone Ages. Now, I appreciate that you guys are giving me a chance here to soapbox here. I feel very passionately about this.
I dig it, man. Like, I've not run with it.
Daddy DDJ is cracking the whip.
I'm just telling you, man. I'm just like, listen, if you don't believe in the United States and you don't believe in America and you think that hate speech should be censored, go back to your third world shithole. We don't want you here. Okay. We already know what socialism looks like. We see Venezuela. We see Sweden. We see the EU. Okay. We know that socialism is just a fancy word for communism. We watched the 100 million people get killed by Mao. We watched communism kill a bunch of people. And we're seeing the communist playbook today with Ocasio-Cortez and the rest of them. The point is this: you have to have the right to be offended. If you're butthurt and you can't handle it, then be adult enough to change the goddamn channel. And if you can't be adult enough to change the goddamn channel, then you need to contact the federal government, go get on Social Security, disability, and go have somebody assigned to make decisions for you, because you're clearly not a fucking adult.
So Anthony told me when we first met that I was gonna like you. So I like you. That was awesome. He was not wrong. He was absolutely correct. And now, before moving to Phil, I want to clarify when I said the hate speech. I should have said incitement of violence. I don't think we should share addresses and, hey, let's go attack this man at this address at this. That's what I meant when I said hate, but I just the term incitement of violence, I guess, would be better use of what I'm saying we should not be doing.
Right. And I think that, frankly, if Antifa comes to somebody's house or anything like that and they start threatening violence, you shoot them in the face with a shotgun. And when the press shows up, you waive your Fifth Amendment right to be silent. And you say, look, I don't negotiate with terrorists.
Now, if this were any other episode, I would want to go down the path of, I don't remember who the politician
was. We can do another time. Right.
But they were banging on this guy's door and like his wife was inside or something. I don't remember who it was.
Tucker Carlson.
Shit. Yeah, what the fuck?
Tucker Carlson. They were threatening to kill his wife. They were threatening to kill his children. They were threatening to do all these things. Listen, when Milo Yiannopoulos was in Berkeley, and I don't agree with everything that Milo says, okay? But when he was in Berkeley, California, there were a bunch of people out there and they barricaded them in and they said, let Milo come out. They were going to beat him to death. They were going to beat him to death because they didn't like what he was going to say. That was years ago. And we see this all the time. I mean, there was a guy who, and again, I'm not Caucasian, but there was a guy in Seattle who was walking down the street and he had swastikas tattooed on his arm. He wasn't harassing anybody. He wasn't, saying white power or nothing. He was just like, going to work or something. And he had his sleeves pulled up. He had a swastika on his forearm and he was gang beat. He didn't do anything other than this is what his belief systems are. I mean, this is America. You have a right to your belief system. You have a right to your religion. Christians are getting persecuted left and right. That's religious discrimination. But nobody wants to talk about that from a civil rights perspective. That's why I'm like, look, sue them into the fucking Stone Ages. The best thing that the Christian Coalition has done is told the Southern Poverty Law Center that we are going to sue you, but we're not going to sue you in a class action lawsuit. We're going to sue you individually because they're going to sue them into the Stone Ages. That's why you don't hear anything from the SPLC right now, because they're like, holy shit, what are we going to do? But I'm done off the soapbox. I apologize.
Good morning to everybody that has tuned in, and happy fucking Father's Day.
Fuck yeah.
Getting after it today. All right, Phil, last but not least on the panel. How are you doing, man? Welcome to another Red Man Group. Good to see you. What's new with you?
What's up, gentlemen? First off, let me go ahead and let everybody know I want to say happy fucking Father's Day to everybody that has children that's a male. And shit, I don't even know how to follow up that gent's speech right there on everything he just touched on, so I'll just be quick with it. Just working, man, handling my business and having a great fucking time living my fucking life the way I want to live it. I don't let anybody fucking affect me, bother me, and if I hurt your feelings, fuck you. That's all I got.
I don't think there could be a greater message to the fathers that are out there, especially the ones who are trying to find that role. No, actually, so on my
I
note,
hope this gets clipped and put on like CNN or some shit. There's no better message than that.
listen, I shit you not. My notes say follow with Phil because I knew once Phil said something, I was going to be able to follow with that.
Yeah.
So Phil, I want to start with you. You know, there are a lot of fathers out there who today is their day. And you know what? They might get that Father's Day blowjob. Maybe. These dads, hey, go out and mow the lawn. Maybe they'll get some recognition. Maybe they'll get another tie. But a lot of these dads, you know, they're struggling in silence. A lot of these dads are like, what the fuck? I see these guys in Red Man Group. I see the Family Alpha. I see Rugged Leg. I see all these, the sphere, you know, all these men collectively talking. I want to get involved. Phil, for the men wanting to step up and, you know, become the leader of their home and you lead your home, you know, what are the beginning steps they have to take?
Beginning steps on being a fucking man and running your family is what you're after. So basically, if you find yourself in a position of weakness with your wife, with your children, you need to go look yourself in the mirror and basically tell yourself and ask yourself, what are you doing? You know, your job as the patriarch of your family is to lead, is to protect, is to serve, is to love, you know, and if you're not doing those things, you're not in control. So basically, if you want to, which I would hope, be a man of value and take care of your children and your wife, and you're tired of having a dead bedroom, you know, and washing the dishes for that little once a month blowjob, you know, it's time to grow up. You know, so how do we grow up? You know, we can all read the sidebar and go, yeah, we need to lift. We need to do this and do that. Well, it's not all about that. You know, the big thing for me is, you know, taking back control. You know, we're not cart horses, we're men. And unfortunately, in this day and age, we've become so soft as men. A lot of men have that they are just cart horses. Go to work every day, come home, argue with the wife, beg for some sex, and hope it all works out in the end. Nine times out of 10, they're divorcing or blowing their fucking brains out, you know, and that's just not sustainable. So I just think that as a man, there should be something inside of you that says, you know, this is wrong. But unfortunately, too many men in America that I'm aware of, they don't feel that way anymore. They're comfortable. And that's the thing. You got to find that discomfort. You know, you have to be able to get after it, you know, and push and make sure your agenda, because you are the family leader, is followed. You know, there is no other agenda in my home but my agenda. You know, and I'm kind of a dick like that, because the simple fact is my wife, you know, I've been married and I've been divorced, you know, and the first marriage didn't go so well. This marriage is doing a lot better, and that's because I'm in full control of my home. I'm not saying that, you know, I rule with an iron fist. She could walk out the door tomorrow and I just have to accept it. That's just that, you know, but the simple fact is I have it my way, no other way. It's not her way. It's not my daughter's way. It's my way. Everything is done my way in my house. And for the simple reason is my way is the right way. Call me a misogynist, call me, you know, controlling, call me what you will. But that's how I run my house.
You're the king of your castle, Phil. Fuck yeah.
How do you describe it? The jury?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I look at my wife and my daughter as like litigating attorneys, and I'm a judge. So they bring me information and I make my decision based on what information they're bringing me. I don't argue with them. If you know, and they try, you know, if you have a vagina, you have this gift of trying to pull male figures in your life into this little box of disagreement, strife, argument, because they love that drama. They love that friggin' roller coaster. You know what I mean? And I refuse to do it with them. If I sense just an inkling of them, I just start laughing at them. You know, I say, no, you know, what information do you have for me? And then I make my decision, and they get a lot of no's before they get a yes. And that's just how it is in my house. I don't give in to anything, any way at all, to either one of them. Now, if they're doing the right thing, my wife's handling her business. We're having a great life. She wants something, perfect. You can have whatever your heart's desire is. Same with my daughter. But if you're not handling your business, I can't help you. You know, I make it tough, and I make it tough for reasons because, you know, I have a daughter. You know, I don't have a son. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I am very, very fearful of the direction of how things are going to be when she matures. I mean, my daughter actually is harder than half these young boys out there. And that scares me. And she's feminine. You know, I just don't understand how, as a society, we can all just say, oh, we'll just take the easy way on this one. You know, I won't work out. I won't take care of my health. I won't take care of my family. I'll just build up all this massive debt, you know, overextend myself and live a life of stress. And I mean, if you literally 99% of the people you see or come in contact with, look at them truly in the face. They are fucking miserable. People are we're a miserable race right now. You know, things that used to bring people joy, they aren't even happy anymore. And it all starts from the dad, from the home. You know, how is that going? You know, and they're miserable. So everybody's miserable.
So something interesting about this is, while you were talking, one of the guys in the chat said Jimmy Kimmel put up a video on Father's Day mocking fathers. These gender traitors are constantly, and people will hear what you said about leading your household and, you know, making the decisions and how you're right. And some men will hear that and get like disgusted inside, like, oh, I can't relate to that message. But then they listen to Jimmy Kimmel mock fathers and they relate to that message. It's like they're identifying with the person who is completely castrating them on public television, saying you are not a man. And they're like, yeah, I get that. I'm totally on board with that. But you come here and say, hey, stand up and, you know, lead, make decisions, you know, have the family follow. And, you know, you are the leader. You make the decision. And then they get uncomfortable. We need more men hearing this message and starting to align with it more so than anything else. You know, one of the things I've been pushing recently is that men cannot self-sacrifice their way to the grave. You cannot self-sacrifice your way to happiness. Constantly putting other people forward, constantly making everybody else a priority but yourself, that will lead to a miserable existence to where you no longer have value because you're no longer invested in yourself. And now, you know, you've got a family who's looking at a valueless man. DDJ, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I would. Let me tell you something. You know, anybody who's going to shame a biological father, there's only one of two reasons for it. Either one, they've sucked one too many dicks, or two, they're trying to get into your wife's pants. That's the reality, right? So any man who's going to shame another man for being a father, for being a biological father, you know, that's a misandrist. I mean, that's why I created my channel, Misandry Today. The reality is that biological fathers, natural fathers, intact families, they're all shamed. And I always tell people, I said, look, I said, you want to know how I said, there's two ways you can avoid divorce. Number one, never get married. Or number two, treat your spouse like they are your family. If you're a woman, you got to treat your man like he is your family, not your utility. And the same thing goes for men toward women. If more spouses treated each other as though they were, like they treated their children as not disposable, you would see divorce fall through the floor. And when it comes to this idea of biological fathers, I mean, I watched a news article the other day, and they were touting this foster kid. The child was in foster care, and the teacher adopted him. And now they're like, oh, look, you know, this is a great Father's Day story, right? Well, the Father's Day story tragedy is this. When a family goes through divorce, that father is only able to parent his children for 4 days a month on average. What ends up happening is that the single mom ends up trying to parent the child. She can't do it. A single mom can't parent a son. She can't even parent a daughter. That's why you have two parent families. And when I first met Anthony, one of the conversations we had, we discussed the power of the extended family. So the idea of the nuclear family, it's bullshit. It's a straw man argument. It's not single parenting versus nuclear family. It's the extended family versus everything else. Because, you know, your grandparents are important. Your aunts and uncles are important. Your cousins are important. All those connections and all that social grouping is super important. And this idea that everybody should be a father except the father, it's bullshit. It's like a 3-card Monte game. It's a con. So at the end of the day, you know, men should be supporting biological fathers. They should not, and I'm not saying shame stepfathers. I'm not saying shame anybody else, but I'm saying that biological fathers have their place. And statistically speaking, The safest place for a woman in 2019 is in the home with her husband, who is the biological father of her children. And the safest place for children in 2019 is in the home with mom and dad living in the bounds of Christian marriage, very specifically. That is the safest place for them. So at the end of the day, we need to be promoting biological fathers. And whether it's Jimmy Kimmel or any other cuck that's out there, you know, they want to shame fathers all they want. You know what? I get it. Go get your T checked. I mean, if you need testosterone replacement therapy, it's there. We have the technology. All I'm saying is, you know, don't sit in the corner masturbating while your woman is banging somebody else. Be a biological father yourself.
I mean, solid. And holy shit, man. Like, you hit the nail on the head right there. You know, these guys, it's not just their T levels, it's that they've sold out. You know, it's not popular to say, go fathers. It's popular to say, fuck fathers. Get rid of them. Toss them out. Guess what? That sells. That makes these guys money. And that's what they're chasing. They've completely sold out. And I think people are waking up to that. Or maybe because I'm in the echo chamber of the guys who are like trying to dial themselves in, I'm starting to see more and more men grow from this. But it's one of those things where when you look at them, you can see through the facade. Like, of course you're going to talk shit about men. Look at you. You know, you're making money off this. You're making big money off this. There is a war against men. And to have a biological father, a pro-biological father message, that's suicide to your career. And I wanted to spin this to Jeff, because there are a lot of fathers, and I love to give practical advice. You know, how can we apply this? Many men will watch this and say, I would love to do what you guys do. I would love to follow my mission. I would love to get involved, but I don't have the time. You know, I've got a wife and kids. I've got a job. Jeff, you work a job. You have 9 children. You're married, and you've launched Rugged Legacy, which has helped so many men. You've contributed back to them, and now you're running the unemployables. So to the fathers who are saying they don't have the time, let's break down how you, a man who you've out-patriarched Tanner Guzzi. You have 9 children, man. That's a fucking accomplishment. I don't. So I want, like, how did you make that happen? How did this come to fruition? And for the guys, or for the fathers rather, who are, you know, giving the excuse of, you know, listen, you have the time. You just don't have the commitment or drive.
Yeah, that's exactly it. A lot of people, you know, it's like what we said when you and I were having a conversation. I've given people the recipe to the fucking beard bombs that Rugged Legacy sells. No one's going to fucking out Rugged Legacy, because they don't have the commitment. And that goes to a lot of fathers and a lot of men out there right now. You know, I get up, hell, sometimes I sleep late. I get up at 5:30. Fuck. Didn't get up as early as I wanted. I go to my 9 to 5 for 12 fucking hours, 5 to 6 days a week. While I'm there, any spare time I have, I'm on my phone. I'm plugging Rugged Legacy. I'm interacting with people, asking me for advice. I'm reaching out to people to get them on the Unemployables podcast, because as I'm trying to break the 9 to 5 and get everybody else to the level that you've recently reached, and congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
I love seeing other people succeed. And it's just one of the things I'm passionate about, whether it be my wife, my children, other men, other women, other people's fucking kids. I don't give a shit who it is. As long as you're leveling up, I'm going to support you. And I was that piece of shit. You know, 7 years ago, my wife, who was pregnant and we had 8 fucking kids, we were living in one fucking bedroom. And I had to stop feeling sorry for myself. I had to start acting like a goddamn man. And I flew halfway across the fucking country on a whim and said, fuck it, I'm going to make some shit happen. 3 months fucking later, I'm headed back to go get my goddamn family and move them into our new fucking place, you know, with a job with great fucking benefits. And all it is that I was committed to it. It had nothing to do with luck or, oh, he's got privilege. Bull fucking shit. I used to beat concrete with a sledgehammer 10 hours a day for $56 a day. I don't have any fucking privilege. I've got work ethic, and that's how I do it. I run 2 companies, working 9 to 5. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I've got a big ass fucking dog that won't leave me the fuck alone.
And look at that beard. Look at this fucking guy. I love this guy. I don't even know this guy, but his cursing and beard is fucking great.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, as long as the dog ain't trying to hump your leg,
this morning.
Okay.
No, I saw him this morning. We had a fraternity Zoom, and his dog's like just chomping on his face. It was amazing.
Nice.
But, you know, that's what all it is. Just get fucking committed. If you want to go fucking do it, go do it. All this, I don't have time. No, you've got time. If you think about how much time you spend jerking off in front of your fucking laptop, if you think about how much fucking time you spend preening yourself in the goddamn mirror. Look, I own a fucking men's grooming supply company. I don't spend that much goddamn time in front of the mirror. If you think about how much fucking time you're staring at fucking Netflix or Amazon Prime, or just dicking around, drinking at a bar somewhere, watching other men play a fucking sport that you're too out of fucking shape to play, then yeah, you've got plenty of fucking time to make some shit happen. You're just choosing not to, and you need to reprioritize. And do I get fucked up sometimes? Yeah, I get fucked up where I'm not spending enough time with my wife, or I'm not spending enough time with my kids, and I've got to reevaluate and recalibrate what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean I fucking stop doing it because I fucked up once. You know, I tell everybody, if you're on a 1,000 step journey and you fuck up on step 27, that doesn't justify you skipping 28 through 1,000. You fix that fuck up and you keep rolling. And but too many people, especially today, they get so goddamn bogged down in their mistakes, they quit. And I was that guy at one point. But I had to nut the fuck up. And it's just how it is.
When you're talking about bringing it back, dialing it in. There's a lot of fathers, and this is a Father's Day episode of the fucking Red Man Group Patriarchs. Let's step back for a second and realize there is a channel that is dedicated to the development of fathers. We're bringing out that message of real shit men are dealing with, and I think we're seeing more and more men. And again, I'm somewhat biased because of the community I'm in, but more men keep coming into the ranks. When we had the 21 Con Patriarchs edition, the men that I spoke to, the men that I engaged with, they're like, all right, how do I do this with my daughter? How to do this with my son? How to do this with my wife? All these things that family men are going through. And it's months later. And these guys are messaging, hey, this is working. Hey, I had to adjust this, but it's not. Dude, this is real ripples. These ripples are going wide. Early before we came on, I was talking to Phil about how when I was dating my wife, when I was dating my girlfriend who became my wife, the second date when I went to her house, her father was siding the house on some rickety ass piece of wood that was like 30 feet from ladder to ladder with a beehive near his head. And I was like, hey, need help? And I climbed on up and I started helping him. We sided his whole house like 30 feet from death. Like, I was like, fuck it. If I die, whatever, it is what it is. Boys nowadays, these young men coming up, they're soft. They're not even looking to the dad like, hey, I need your approval. And the dads are like, I'm just a bumbling idiot. I don't need to be involved. A lot of men are shifting that. They're starting to change it. But you realize the only way sons are going to be stronger is if fathers are stronger. And the only way father's going to be stronger if they realize that men need to be strong. Now, Anthony, you're not a father yet, but you created the Patriarchs Convention. B, you gave me the green light on running the Red Man Group Patriarchs continuously. So you're going to have a head start beyond, all these other men who kind of dove into it blind. But if I were to picture your sons, they're going to come up knowing what right looks like from the onset. And that's why I'm hoping, this message is not just to help men unfuck themselves. It's not just to bash, the dads who are fucking up to this point, but it's to help those who are like, hey, let's fix it so the next generation does well. And, and you're also not the dude who's getting sex once a year. Let's fix everything.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, something has come to mind a couple of times. I've heard you guys talking, especially you, Hunter. If I'm not mistaken on this quote, I think it's accurate. Winston Churchill once said, during World War II and all that it's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning. And I think with the manosphere and with patriarchy, both this show, the Patriarch Convention, the 21 Convention, the Red Pill space, the manosphere, the MGTOWs, the MRAs, all this stuff, I think we're actually seeing the manosphere really start to mature and evolve. Just like, we heard that comment explicitly about the convention recently, right? 2018 was dope as fuck. 2017 convention was dope as fuck. But the Patriarch event was new and special and much more mature. I've never seen an average attendee age that high and that dignified. We had like all kinds of guys there, not just surgeons and doctors, but like ship captains and stuff from the Navy.
That guy was awesome.
Yeah, dude, it was wild. But we reach, 21 Studios and the Red Man Group alone reach almost 1 million men per month, just those two channels, right? The manosphere itself, though, I think is really, and so we have consistent access to thousands and thousands of men, hundreds of thousands. But I really think the manosphere itself now is numbering in the millions, depending on how you measure it. So we're actually gaining real steam and real momentum. And it's not the 1990s anymore. It's not Mystery and Ross Jeffries doing pickup seminars and shit like that. It's not the 2000s. We're not seeing, the rise of all that stuff. We're seeing something a lot more serious. So I think you're not just in a bubble, Hunter, and what you're feeling with FOE and with the Family Alpha. It really is growing. And you only have immediate access to so many, but all your fans, all these men, all have, you know, Phil and all these guys all have friends and people in their lives that they're influencing, either explicitly through their words or indirectly by demonstrating their actions. Look at this guy with his beard and his company is starting. He's following in your footsteps, trying to get out of the 9-to-5. He has, what, 9 children? Holy shit. Talk about a shining example. Fuck yeah. Patriarch Tanner Guzzi. We got to put that on a t-shirt.
It's going to be a thing. That's an accomplishment. You get like a fucking trophy or some shit.
Yeah. Another comment I wanted to make, man, I don't know if I've said this before in these exact words. I think masculinity has many forms. And obviously, like you said, I'm not a father yet, but I decided to put on the Patriarch Convention, an idea that I guess Tanner and you came up with and then you brought to me, if I'm understanding that history correctly. But I'm not a father, so it's like, why would I take my time to do that with my life? Is it, you know, it didn't, you know, have a crazy number of attendees either. We didn't walk away Scrooge McDuck laughing all the way to the bank, but it worked pretty good. We had about 100 guys, which is pretty dope. But I do view personally, at a very deep level, I view masculinity as something that has many expressions. You know, you can be the Goldman Unleashed Sigma artist, right, in New York City doing camera game. You can be the Dan Bilzerian or the Cobra Tate fucking playboy. Or you can be the Patriarch, the Hunter Drew, the Tanner Guzzi, all these guys. I view the as a masculinity expression, fatherhood is like the most noble, most important form of it. There's nothing more important than that, in my opinion. With full respect to every other way some these dudes want to live. Just out, you know, Cobra Tate runs a fucking campsite. Like, holy shit, what? Like, but he'll speak at the same convention as these patriarchs and these fathers because of the fundamentals behind masculinity, and he's choosing to express it in a specific way. But regardless of that, I really view fathers with the highest of respect. What you guys are doing is so fucking important. Whether it's Phil in his house, being king of his castle, laying down the law, dude, his daughter will benefit from that, regardless of what happens to America in the country, right? Which is really fucking serious. His daughter will benefit from that kind of masculinity and that kind of leadership. She'll benefit from that for the rest of her life. Her children will benefit from that. His grandchildren, Phil's grandchildren, will benefit from that. And if all goes, you know, pretty well, their children beyond that. That's incredible. That's the future of my country too. Whether or not I ever meet his grandchildren and then whatever, that's influencing my home and my country. And I love that so much. You guys are fucking heroes to me. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of other shit too, but you guys are just dope as fuck, leading the charge in the best of ways. So I'm happy to do everything that we do with you guys. It's fucking awesome. And dick sucking rant.
So I've got so many notes about a few things I want to talk to these gentlemen about, you know, especially DDJ when it comes to both vetting, you know, the future because he has grandchildren. So he was able to go through the process as well as, you know, the balance of developing yourself as well as the family. But I want to put something out there to those that are watching too, that, you know, Anthony pretty much gave me the thumbs up to, we're going to have a lot more new faces coming in, you know, men that maybe you don't even have not heard of, but those who have a good message. It's not going to be the same, you know, 5 guys come on, we do what we do. No, we're going to find the men who are living the message, bring them on here. This channel is going to explode with the different perspectives that are coming to the table. You know, today you've got Jeff, brand new guest, who's coming on. Basically, last night I texted him like, hey man, you in? He's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So this morning we had, like I said, a fraternity Zoom. We jumped off that, both jumped right on here. Our families, you know, are planning Father's Day, but we made time for this because it's important to develop yourself and what it is you're doing as well as those around you. You can't build your family up if you're not strong enough to build yourself up. So investing this time, you know, we both have cookouts to go to later. We're going to have a great time. Our families are taking care of us because, you know, it's the Father's Day, you know, it's great. And the same thing with Phil, you know, and DDJ, you know, there's things going on this day to where we're going to go do those things. But we took this moment to invest in you and to all those that are watching that support this, because without you, this is nothing. You know, we're all working together, but don't just sit and listen to the videos, like apply the information. So today, after you listen to this, you should have your shoulders back. Like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm going to continue to develop myself, and I'm not going to just be the dad who you get your tie and you're like, all right, that's cool. You know, like, go do something with your life. Go work out, you know, go get after it. DDJ was late today because he had to go work out, you know, make other people work around your schedule. It's called having frame. You decide what you're doing. Everybody else will work around it because you're the patriarch. You're the leader. I didn't have anything. I didn't leave anything for anybody else to jump on.
Actually, you did. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to go boxing. You said something that was extremely important, and I think that it needs to be reiterated, and it can never be reiterated too much. And that is this. And I forget the gentleman's name who's got the 20,000 kids and the successful family. You know, hashtag raw dog lives matter, but nothing but respect. But beyond that, you know, and he lives the lifestyle that is this as well. And again, what I want to reiterate is this: investment. All right. So the theme here is that healthy men, healthy masculine men, healthy fathers, healthy grandfathers. We invest. We not only invest in our relationships, whether it be our children, our women, our friends, whatever, but we also invest in ourselves and in our communities, because you have to give a little bit back to go from there. I mean, you have to make those investments, and really nothing takes the place of time. You want to build strong relationships with people, you got to get in their face and have that relationship. You got to be able to invest that time. And more importantly, you have to know when those people are willing to invest that time in you, and you have to be able to recognize that. You have to be able to kind of, step out of your own ego for a second and go, okay, this person, they need my help or whatever. And I'm not saying that you should be anybody's servant or anything like that. But what I am saying is this: successful fathers invest. They don't just invest financially, they invest their time. As men, the most important resource we have and the most important non-renewable resource we have is our time. So we invest it. Successful men invest their time so they can make the success in life. And when they do that, the money solves itself. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Hunter and I talked about this on the Morning Brew when I was on there. When it came to the name Rugged Legacy for my men's grooming supply company. Rugged, one of the main archetypes that Tanner Guzzi talks about in his masculine style, and legacy. I've got 9 fucking kids. I think my legacy's secure, especially with 8 of them being boys. But, investing, I said I was a piece of shit 7 years ago, and I was, and I'm still on the way out of being a piece of shit, working my way up. I'm not going to try to stand on a fucking soapbox and say, look how great I am. I fuck up every day. But I gave my wife and my children every goddamn reason on the planet to just say, fuck that guy. Because I wasn't investing anything into myself. I wasn't investing anything into them. And that was the legacy that I was gonna leave. But I pulled my head out of my ass, grabbed myself by the fucking nuts, and started acting like a goddamn man. I started placing value on my family. My kids and my wife, they're fucking worth it to me. Because I'm not gonna fucking get married again if this were to ever not work out. Fuck that. I'm not gonna have any different fucking kids. I'm not trying to split up fucking households. And to be honest, child support would fucking kill me. But no, my legacy is important to me. I say this a lot. When you die, your kids are going to take your shit. Well, at least what they want. The rest of it is going to end up in a fucking storage unit or thrown the fuck out. Your grandkids might take a few pieces. And then after that, your great grandkids aren't going to even know who the fuck you were, what you look like. They're not going to know your fucking middle name. But if you, right now, can establish a family hierarchy to where you are the patriarch and you create a living legacy for your children to carry on into their children and pass those important lessons on, where they can look at their children and their grandchildren and say, look, we didn't always have it good, but my fucking dad beat his knuckles into the goddamned earth and pulled out every goddamn thing that we have. And that is the kind of blood you come from. That is the type of line you come from. So you're going to do what you have to make your goddamn family name stand and make your bloodline proud. That right there is important to me. Yeah, my grandkids might not know a whole lot about me, but what they will know is that they come from a goddamn line of men who didn't just fuck off and say, nah, it is what it is. They're going to be known that they come from a line of men that worked their fucking ass off, became the best versions of themselves that they could possibly fucking be, and tried to raise up everyone else to that same level. And so that is the legacy behind Rugged Legacy.
Dude,
Amen.
fucking the men watching this are gonna rip a fucking phone book in half. Holy shit. I'm sitting there, but what's awesome is I love the chat. The chat for Redman groups are always the best. And one of the guys, he put, women respect a respected man. And I was like, that's all. I've never heard that before. Women respect a respected man. And somebody followed up with, they also respect a self-respecting man. And Jeff, for all the shit you've been through and the things you've been beating yourself up over and, you know, fight, like once you started respecting yourself and you're like, look, they've given every reason to toss me to the side, but now I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to invest in me and them because they're an extension of you. So by taking care of yourself, you took care of them. By respecting yourself, now you've respected them and the name and the legacy and all that. And when DDJ was talking about time, you know, there are fathers. So I'm big into coaching. I dedicate time and energy to my son because he wanted to play baseball, but also all those other boys that are there. When I bring them together, when I instill values in them, you know, that time and energy is going to other fathers' sons. So they're gonna light them on fire. Hopefully, their dads at home are doing the same, you know, in lighting it up. And if they aren't, and they see another man, you know, giving more attention and time into the development of their son, that should spark something. So either the boy's going to do well because you're helping him, or the boy's going to do much better because he's going to go home and expect the same from his father. So it spreads that flame. And for each of us, everyone here, I know for sure, is dedicating the necessary time and energy into the development of their family. And that's one of the most important takeaways from the show is you've got to make yourself a priority, you know, go out, lift, build your dream, follow your mission. And at the same time, don't think that sitting down and watching TV is time spent with your child. Turn the TV off, turn something off, go outside and do a thing with them. If they play a sport, practice it with them. You know, practice at home, do your things like that, read with them, go on adventures, you know, skip the electronic time. You know, there is hope. And there are men here who they're in the dead bedroom. Their kids don't respect them. Their wife doesn't like them at all. All right, start investing in you now. There is hope for you. And it's okay to feel that. Not everything is doom and gloom. You know, women are what they are and you're fucked. You know, you can take care and grab ownership of your life by investing in yourself. We've got 31 men right now going through a 31 DTM program that I'm running, and they are already 4 days in turning their shit around. 31 fathers. It's a fathers only campaign. And these dudes are seeing new results. They're kicking fucking ass. All they needed was someone to be like, hey, there's the way. That's what Red Man Group presents with you. We're pointing the way. You've got to listen and apply it. And DDJ's point on the time and energy, understand you can't just waste that. It's got to be intentional. So look at your schedule and kind of refine it to be more efficient.
You know, Hunter, I wanted to comment when I went to Elliot Hulse's grounding camp, basically his like main event he does for men. He does them all over America, New York, Florida, Texas, stuff like that. This one was in New York. And on the first day, like the very first opening, he fucking like singled me out, of course, right? I was trying to like play low key and just be an attendee. And he's like, Anthony Johnson and all this shit. And then he was talking about you and Steve Williams and actually a lot of speakers, which is pretty cool. Because obviously the Patriarch convention was recently. But he said something. He looked at me and he's like, you're a father. And I'm like, what? And I'm thinking he fucked up. He thinks I had kids or something. I'm like, I don't have children, dude. He's like, no, you're a father. And I think he was referring basically to, I've talked to him a little bit over text since then, but I think what he was referring to in that moment is like the convention itself. And not the speakers necessarily, but the attendees and the men we attract to the conventions. And I say that in the sense that I think what we're doing is we're helping fix and mend a completely underfathered country, an underfathered generation. So what you guys are doing is fucking incredible. And really what we're doing, like you're mentioning all these men, the 31 men in your 31 DTM program, right? Or Days to Masculinity, yeah.
Yep.
You're basically fathering these men in a way that's like a brother, like a fellowship, like a brotherhood kind of thing. But it really is fathering. It's fathering they for sure shit didn't get. If they got it, they wouldn't be in your program. So you're doing, so to speak, doing the Lord's work, man. It's fucking awesome. We all are in what we're doing. By getting together, by building these events, by doing these podcasts, it's fucking awesome. And so I love seeing it.
Well, I mean, that's what's wild, isn't it? You know, when I gave my speech, the keynote speech, one of the main things I drove home was the only reason I'm the chief patriarch is because right now I've got the mic. Guess what? When Phil jumps on, he starts speaking, that's the chief patriarch because he's got the mic. He's the one leading the tribe. And then Jeff jumps on, then DDJ, when you've got the mic and you're the one leading those other men, that is what a patriarch does. You know, and these guys, you know, I wish I could do more. So do more. Stop wishing. Go out, coach your kids' team, get involved with the community, get involved with your church, whatever your situation is, stand up and be the dude who grabs the mic and speaks because people need to hear the message.
Well, one of the things that I always say is look, you are the hero you're looking for. You are the solution that you're looking for. You know what the answers are. You just have to stand up and implement them.
Yeah, and I was going to kind of lead into something like that. You know, you want to lead your family? Well, first off, you have to be worth fucking following. Okay? For a long time, I wasn't. And my family was not going to fucking follow me. And I wouldn't fucking follow me. So you want to start leading your family, the first thing you got to fucking do is lead yourself into becoming somebody worth following. And that's where a lot of people, you know, they demand respect, or you can command respect. Demanding respect is your fucking ego. Commanding respect is your presence. And you increase your goddamn presence and you become somebody worth fucking following, you're not going to have any problem having your family follow you. But you first got to become that person. And you can't do that until, like Hunter said, you know, when I started respecting myself and working on myself, I became somebody worth following. Am I going to get pushback? Yeah. Leaders should get pushback because it's a test of their strength and leadership. But it's how you handle that is what's going to make all the difference. But no one's going to fucking follow you. Your wife's not going to respect you. Your kids are not going to fucking respect you until you earn that goddamn respect and you be somebody worth that respect. You can't just demand it. You actually have to be the person worth respecting. Respecting. That's where a lot of people get fucked up. They think, well, I'm the dad and I'm the husband, so respect me. No, you're a fat piece of shit that sits on the fucking couch watching Family Guy.
Awesome.
Nobody wants to respect that fucker. You look exactly like Peter fucking Griffin. Go sit the fuck down. You got to be somebody worth respecting.
Phil, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I want to spin off on that. So right here in my office where I'm sitting right now, I've got a huge whiteboard sitting to the right. And it says, and I have it wrote at the top, and it says, don't try and get around it. You got to go through it. And that's just it right there. You know, everything starts with us as men. So we live a little bit more of a traditional lifestyle. There was a time in my life when I was fat, sloppy, lazy, drank too much, didn't take care of my business. That's on me. I turned that around. I made a commitment to myself and I said, look, you know, it's time to grow up and have a quality life. You know, so I weight train. It's interesting. Once I started weight training and I started getting in shape, my wife was like, you know, I want to start weight training with you. So she goes to the gym. And now my child says to me, well, I want to start weight training too. So I actually go to the gym in the morning and then they show up about an hour and a half later and I train them. So as a family, we start our day in the gym. We go through our day. I go to work. I work my ass to the bone, kind of like Rugged Legacy does, for the simple fact is I want a more traditional life. My wife doesn't work. So her job is the home front. You know, my wife is happiest when she has her apron on and she's baking something for a neighbor. She's taking care of the house. She's running things. She's running the house when I'm not here. That is her thing. I go out, I swing the sword, I bring the money. She takes care of the rest. I come home from work. We sit down at our dinner table as a family. And I go through the whole day with them. So how was your day? What's going on? And we talk about what's going on. How are your friends with our child? You know, what's the latest and greatest? What's not so great? What can I do to help you? You know, and as kids, as children, as a father with children, I will tell you this. Rugged Legacy is exactly right. You can't demand that respect. You have to earn it. And it takes a little bit. It's like incremental. You have to do this stuff little bit by little bit by little bit. And you have to build momentum over a longer frame of time to get what you're looking for. So with my daughter, in fact, you know, she's going to be 15 in September. She's a teenage girl. Two things going against me right now. She's a teenager and she's got a vagina. So she is constantly, you know, wishy-washy on things, and through patience and subtle guidance, you know, and course correction, she makes a mistake. I'm like, hey, that's not really a good look for you. You need to reassess that. And I've found now that she is deferring to my wife and myself more and more for advice when it comes to her peers, her school, my ex-wife. And it's like I'm sitting back now and I'm kind of like I'm reaping the benefits of that work I put in with her, you know. And it's the same thing with my wife. You know, I've rewarded the good behavior and, you know, kind of not so much call her on her bullshit when she does something that I don't like. And the interesting part of it all is I could have had this life my whole life if I wouldn't have been like every other man out there that I see that's completely broke down. It's interesting, because, my network of men in the area I live in, I can count on one fucking hand. It's crazy. A lot of the guys I talk to are on a digital interface like this, and they don't share the same values or ideas as myself. It's kind of like my neighbors. None of my neighbors talk to me. They've got browbeaten wives. They're completely beat down. And it's like, I have no relatability to them. And if I were to, and my wife says to me sometimes, she goes, Phil, sometimes you're a little too fucking real. And it's sad for me a little bit, for the simple fact is I was that guy once before, and I have a way for them to get around that. But 9 times out of 10, when I offer that information to them, they spit it back up, or they say there's no way. And they're afraid to take that leap of investment in themselves to improve who they were. It's kind of like Rugged Legacy. He said a few years back, he was the kind of guy that he wouldn't be surprised if his wife and children turned their back on him. I was that guy too. And there's a lot of men out there that are too afraid to invest and improve themselves because it's against society's norm. It's tragic. I just don't understand, for the simple fact is how you could want to live that lifestyle. And I don't even know how I lived that lifestyle for so long now that I live the way I live. And, a lot of people are like, well, you work too hard. You work too much, no, I don't. I can work fucking harder. Jeff is exactly right. Your work ethic will carry over into everything in your life. If you have a determination and a will to improve yourself and better your life situation, you'll figure out a way. There's always another way. You have to fucking go through it. You can't get around it. You have to go through it. That's what I got.
You guys are making it easy to follow up and, spin these things over. You're fucking, like, each of these standalone moments are like excellent messages in themselves. So, yeah, exactly. Like Donovan Sharp, man, he gets all these guys giving like great, oh, these are good. They work off each other. Me, I've got these fucking assholes, making great epilogues, going through, or monologues, whatever it is. Good job, man. I mean, that's fucking perfect. Exactly what men need to hear.
You're
Jeff,
welcome.
you're gonna say, yeah, thanks. Jeff, you're gonna say something?
No, I was just saying, I dig it, man. Phil's right. Your work ethic's what's going to drive it over, because you don't improve in a vacuum. You start improving in one area of your life, other areas are just going to naturally improve. It's just one of those things. A lot of people don't understand it. They think, well, first I got to work on my health. Then I got to work on my finances. Then I got to work on this. Start working on fucking one. The rest starts coming up with it.
It's a mindset shift. I mean, honestly, once you start viewing yourself as a priority, everything else just works out. It starts up here, honestly. I know you could say lifting, but there's a lot of bodybuilders who would cry if a woman said the wrong thing to them. It starts in your mind.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why I tell people, I say, look, if you're handling your business and you're doing what you need to do, you may not always have what you want, but you'll have what you need, and the money will always take care of itself.
To wrap this one up, because we all have things to go do. I wanted to.
I drank a shitload of coffee, so yeah.
Everybody's got to go. We'll do a quick closeout. I'll wrap this one up. But gents, you want to leave a final statement, final call to action for the fathers out there, and let them know, hey, this Father's Day could be the one you turn it around. I know all the men that are in the 31 DTM. This Father's Day will change their lives. They're on a trajectory now that is going to bring them to heights that were never considered possible before. So, Jeff, we'll start with you.
Look, if you're in a position where you just don't want to fucking be there, no one's going to change it but you. You can't rely on, your wife or your kids to give you the inspiration. You don't fucking need inspiration. You just need to get up and start fucking going. All right? As long as you're 1% better than you used to be yesterday, you're good. And just improve that little bit every single day. Don't stop. You're not going to see, if you got fat for 3,000 days in a row, you're not going to be thin in 30 days of improvement. It has to be a lifestyle change. You got to change everything about who you are and what you are. If you've got a wife that hates you, you've probably given her a fucking reason to. All right, you got to own your own bullshit. All right, that's one of the hardest things that a lot of men struggle with is they don't want to own their bullshit. They want to place the blame on everybody else. First thing you can fucking do is realize you fucked up and just start fucking fixing it. Let it go, because a win will last just as long as a loss does. All right, you lost, it's over. You won, it's over. All right, don't dwell on it. Just start fucking plugging in every single goddamn day to make something better. And that something needs to be yourself before you even try to improve anything else. So if you got kids, a wife, they're going to give you a pair of fucking socks or a pair of fucking underwear, whatever. You know what? I love getting fucking socks and underwear, but you know what I love more? I love having a wife and a kid that actually gives a shit about me. All right?
It's well said. DDJ, what do you want to leave the fathers with?
You know, the thing about changing in life is that everybody's afraid of change. And, you know, John Wayne said that, you know, courage is being scared shitless and saddling up anyway. And, you know, everybody's afraid of failure. But the reality is that failure is the reason we succeed. We just have to learn how to fail differently every time we try something. So, you know, maybe, you know, like when you went to learn how to ride a bike, you failed a little bit. You fell down, you crashed, you did different things. And then as you learned how to ride your bike and you learned how to, you know, as a kid, and you learned different things, and eventually you were doing wheelies or different things with your bike. Anybody who has a high level of skill in anything in life, they have failed more than they've succeeded. And the reason that they failed more than they succeeded is because they were willing to invest that time in order to become successful. The same is true being a father. The same is true being a man. The same is true being a patriarch. You will fail. Accept it. Fail differently next time. And if there are things in your life that you're doing that are unhealthy behaviors, and you know, whether it's sitting on the couch and playing video games too much, or whether it's drinking alcohol or doing drugs, or not investing that face time into your family when they need you the most, you know, raising your children. I have 4 adult children now. You know, you have to invest that face time in those kids. You have to invest that, because I'll tell you what, they may not necessarily, it's like what Rugged Legacy said. He said, you know what? He said that his grandkids may not know everything of who he is, but they're going to know something about him. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about. Rugged Legacy's great-grandchildren will know him through the conduct of their own fathers. When you are a father, and eventually you're a grandfather and a great-grandfather, and you pass on good teachings to your kids, you pass on wisdom, your great-great-grandchildren may have never met you, but they will know you through their relationship with their father.
Right. Well, I'm gonna have to wrap this one short. I gotta go deal with a kid who's trying to climb off the porch.
Real fatherhood shit.
Later, guys.
Thanks for joining us, man. Later. That was well said, DJ. And I agree. When we raise our sons, we raise our sons' sons. When we raise our daughters, we raise our daughters' daughters. You know, you're the next level of impact. A lot of guys don't think about that.
That was some deep shit. Yeah, that was fucking dope, DDJ. I loved it.
Phil, what are your parting words for the fathers who are tuning in?
Parting words. So this is what I got for everybody out there. When you get off this podcast or Red Man group here that Anthony's so graciously provided for us here, I want you to go in your bathroom and go look at yourself in the mirror. And just stand there for about 30 seconds and just really look at yourself and realize that it all comes down to you. Every decision you make, it affects your children and your wife. It affects your life. Understand that when you want to quit or it's too hard, that you can give more. It's kind of like that 40% rule. You know, when you want to throw in the towel and say, oh, I can't, I have no more. You have more in you. Understand that your biology as a male is a hunter, a gatherer, a killer, a provider, and a leader. And when you get that through your head and you look at yourself and quit looking at yourself and saying, you know, well, I'm overweight right now. So what? look at where you'll be in a year if you apply the determination to get it. My relationship with my wife isn't so good. Take a step back and take a look at what you're doing wrong and accept it and work on it. But really have that honest conversation. Go spend 5 minutes and talk to yourself in the mirror. Self-talk is a good thing, but you really have to come to the conclusion on your own that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. There's no reason for you to have a subpar existence. This whole world, look at us now. We're on a digital communication. This is going to go everywhere. There is so much information, tools, resources for you to be wallowing in self-pity, depression, doubt, self-hate. There's no need for it. The path is there in front of you, but you have to start with you. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and make that commitment to yourself first. And everything, I promise you, will fall into place. You guys have a happy Father's Day.
I hope the men who are listening took that literally, because everything he just said, everything Phil just laid out for you is a literal application that you can apply to your life right now. Like starting today, you can take those actions. So don't listen to this as a cool background noise. Don't listen to it as a cool, like, this is nice, I get to hang out with the Red Man Group guys. This is real information that gets real results. Make sure you're applying it. Anthony, it's good having you on, man.
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
gonna leave. Red Man Group Patriarchs is created. You're the one who brought this thing to life. What can you toss to the fathers in this Father's Day?
Yeah, thanks, man. And yourself as well, of course, by the way. Yeah, following up these great patriarchs that just went super deep is pretty high calling. Holy shit. All of them, all of you guys. I'm so happy to just even be on the panel today. I want to say this. The one thing I could contribute other than the organization and the structure of what we're doing and momentum and guidance with some of this stuff, I want to do something very simple. I think within the manosphere, from this point forward, we should rename Father's Day to Patriarchs Day. Seriously. I'm actually going to go update the title to this video when we're done. Okay. And start announcing it and going with it. And it's not just a jab at feminists, which is nice. It's very insulting to them, which is just fucking fantastic. But Patriarchs, that's why we named at the last minute, as you know, with the Patriarch Convention, it wasn't going to be called that. It was going to be called the Fatherhood Convention, but I changed it to the Patriarch edition of the convention. Because I think Patriarch, as we've discussed and we know, it's a more specific form of fatherhood. It's leadership. No fucking beta schlub watching Family Guy, knocking back 20 beers a night, calls himself a patriarch. Seriously, he would never call himself a patriarch, period. A patriarch is a leader. It's someone who is the leader of his family unapologetically and is 100% masculine and makes no apology for it. So I think it's important we actually retake. Father's Day is under attack anyway. It gets mocked by these losers like Jimmy Kimmel and whatever the fuck these Vichy male, these traitors. But patriarchy is something special. There's a reason feminists hate it. And I think that's good reason to actually rename and retitle Father's Day to Patriarchs Day. It's a big fuck you to the losers who hate us, and it's a big win and a big fuck yeah, big fist bump to the fathers out there who need help, who need any help they can get from us, from men like us and the men that we surround ourselves with at FOE, the Family Alpha, on YouTube, RMG, and 21Con and all that. So I think that's what we should do. We should make our own manosphere holiday, Patriarchs Day, instead of Father's Day. And I'm happy to take the charge on that as best I can, and hope you guys will join me in that. Fuck yeah.
No, I'm all for it, as you know. Yeah. Listen, to wrap this one up, I want to bring this thing full circle. A lot of men, they're going to get something subpar today. They're going to catch some flack today. A lot of men out there who are not a part of this sphere, and that's majority, are going to be facing a message that basically tells them to repress who it is they are and to be thankful that their wife was able to take care of them because they're a man-child. Look, today that ends. You don't need permission from anybody, but you're going to get permission from me right now. You have permission to buy yourself a new clothes if you need it. You don't have to buy your wife and children everything they want, but you're afraid to spend anything on you because you don't really need anything, right? You don't need new clothes. You don't need a new grill. You have my permission to treat yourself like someone of value. You have my permission right now, all of ours, to start treating yourself like a man who has value and therefore deserves a new grill, a new car, a new shirt, whatever it is you need in your life to actually take care of yourself. It's okay to do those things. There's nothing wrong with you for being a father, regardless of what anybody else says. You don't need permission to live that way. There are men in the thread right now who are saying, you know what, today's the day. Today I'm going to start taking action. One of the slogans I put out there is act and non-verbal, which is deeds, not words. It's great to say you want to be an awesome father, but it's much better to actually go be an awesome father. On this Patriarchs Day, you're going to go out, put yourself out there. When your number is called, you have to answer it. Hey, we need someone to coach this sport. I got it. Hey, we need someone to take care of, these boys. They need someone to guide them. I got it. You don't need permission to be like, hey, you have my permission to raise your fucking hand. You're a man. You're a father. It's time to act like it. Have a great Patriarchs Day 2019.